whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I'm holding my arm because I have a pinched nerve. And so when I sit in this chair, I try to hold my arm because the nerve is going down my arm. The pinched nerve is going down my arm. That's why I'm holding my arm. So, but Mr. Beaver, we thank you again for allowing Carol and I to join you guys for a few minutes. And we were just in Michigan, and if we didn't see you guys, it was a phenomenal event. A lot of good times with the folks that were there. And our goal is to come back to Michigan to experience a bigger event, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you guys there. And we want to talk a little bit about the importance of presence. And I bring it up because it's probably the most important thing we can do in our business, and that's showing up. But sometimes we forget that because we sometimes what we do is we think, well, if I do the work, I'm showing up for the work. Why do I show up for the events? And we'll share a couple of reasons why. Uh, for convention, let's dive into that one. Is that all right? Yeah. For convention, the reason why it's important is one, if you're taking notes, is that learning knowledge. So we can learn what we don't know. And sometimes we think we know it all. We sold a membership, we recruited somebody, so I got it. And so we just take that and run with it. But then we start realizing, we start making mistakes that we ain't got it. And so it's really important to be around people who know what we don't know. And if you were to go and if you said to yourself, well, I'm a business owner, I'm going to go talk to the top 25 people in Legal Shield, then you would have to either drive or fly all the way across the country, spend money, put gas in your car, sleep in hotels to go talk to 25 different people and meet with them. Or just one trip to go to Oklahoma and then all 25 will be there. And what I love about our business is that even though you'll see them on stage, they're also not on stage where you can say, hey, do you mind if I talk to you for a few minutes? And I've never, ever have seen one of our leaders go, no, I can't meet with you. Usually, generally, they're like, sure, what do you need? What can I do for you? And they'll sit down with you, talk. That it's happened for Carol and I. We used to beg people to sit down with us. And they would go, no, sure, no worries. What do you want to talk about? And we're so glad that they did that because one, it helped us realize that they're people too, but also two, it was that question that we couldn't ask when they're on stage, but we could ask them, and we got our answers that we needed to move forward. And so the power of presence means, hey, you're there too. Also, in the power of presence, it means showing up because your team needs to see you there. And if you're a leader or aspiring leader, then they're watching you. Carol and I both know that we can't say, you know what, you guys go to a convention, we're just going to hang out here at home. It'd be like, what? Our leader is sitting at home and we're at convention? That's what they're saying. So if you've decided I'm not going for this reason or that reason, and your reason might be really valid. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't have real valid reasons, but if it's something that can be worked out, like money or scheduling, if it can be worked out, then by all means go, because the people that you believe that you're leading are watching you. So your presence is super important. Can't stress that enough. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Completely. Okay. Another thing that's super important in the power of presence is that your presence allows you to be surrounded by like-minded people. And what I mean by that is there are people that you just need to be around on a consistent basis. But if you can't, then as much as possible, be around the people that, even though, we're not the hoo-hoo, rah-rah kind of folks, but there are those that do like the hoo-hoo, rah-rah. Well, I'm not that way. Carol is. Carol used to be a cheerleader. And so I'm the football player and she's the cheerleader. I want to get it done and she can cheer, but she needs that. She really does. And so it's important for her to be around people that are cheering for success. And I like seeing the people that are being successful. So whether you're kind of like me, you need to be there, or if you're kind of like Carol, it's really important to be there.
Yeah.
All right. How am I doing?
You're doing great. Good.
Okay. All right. And another reason for some of you guys are business owners, it's a tax write-off. I mean, you can write it off. There you go. See, I'm like, I can't wait to go. My cleaning, my airfare, my hotel, all business expenses. I can't wait to write them off. So, hey, that's a good reason to want to be there in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, and then two, just get out of Michigan. Jeez, don't you just want to get out of Michigan for a few days? Am I talking to the choir here now? Just get out, right? It's not Florida. It's not, Puerto Vallarta or Mexico. But gosh, let's get out of Michigan, right? We're in Indiana, so we understand. Let's just for a few days. In fact, when our first convention that I asked Carol to go to, it was going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And when I asked her to go, what was your response?
I wanted to go because I looked at it as a way to get out of Indiana,
There you go.
vacation.
There you go, baby. I was like, yeah, it's a vacation. I didn't care how I did it, but she had to be there. But then when you went, what was your feelings on
It
it?
was amazing because I was not involved with the business at the time. I just pretty much supported my husband, of course, but I wasn't actively involved. And when you have a spouse that supports you, that's really been actively involved because while you're working the business, they're taking care of other things. But that all goes hand in hand. But I wasn't actually involved in helping people succeed in Legal Shield or signing them up for the legal plan or any of that because I was too afraid to, honestly. My background was that of a social worker, and I associated everything at the time with sales.
Mhm.
And because I had no sales experience, I just kind of stayed away from it and kind of looked from the background. And my husband, we were making income with the company from having PBRs in our home. I would support that. He would go to the meetings weekly. I would not go to those. So I wasn't involved in any of that. And maybe, no, I went a couple of times. I have to say this. The first time I went, I'm like, oh, this is great. The second time I went to a meeting, I thought, wait a minute, I just heard that. Why am I going back again?
You're saying the same thing over
I'm
and
saying
over.
the same thing over and over again. I didn't realize that was creating duplication. Now I know that's money, y'all. It's money. So he invited me to this big event. And when he said it was in Tulsa, I'm like, Tulsa, Oklahoma, I've never been there before, but hey, it's a way to get out of Indiana. I went and I was totally blown away. Totally. I was in my early mid 30s and saw this young lady
I was
walk.
in my 20s.
Nah, but saw this young lady walk across stage. She just made $10,000. She was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my goodness, if she can do it, I can too. And that's what the big events, I think, do more than anything.
Yeah, but you had to see it though.
Yeah, I had to see
I
it. There,
couldn't bring that home
no,
and go,
there was
oh, Carol, I saw a 19-year-old walk across stage and she made 10 grand.
no, it
You'd be
wouldn't have
like,
been the
yeah,
same.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
had to
that's
be there.
nice. You had to see it.
Yeah,
So that's another reason why you want to go to convention because you
yeah.
got to see it.
And you see
Because
yourself there.
yeah, and you can't take other people's words for it.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
And from that, it's just been on since then. We came back home and we both were excited. We said, let's go to work. And both of us went to work. And I've been working with him ever since, have not stopped. And
Yeah.
it's just been a blessing for both of us. But I think I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I did not go to that event, and events at following, there's no way that we would be working together right now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that led to us then to doing weekly events in our marketplace. And I know that weekly events are somewhat difficult. I remember starting an event here locally here in Indy, and it was just me. I was the only one going there for a week, couple of weeks. And I would go in the snow. Nobody else would show up, but it would be me. But I just knew one day it would get bigger, and it did. I mean, we've had literally hundreds of people at our briefings, but the point was I knew I had to show up. And every good leader would tell you the power of showing up and the power of presence, but it's important to really internalize it. There's something called the law of reciprocity. Is anybody familiar with that? The law of reciprocity? Okay, so you get back what you put into it. It's like you sow what you reap, or you reap what you sow. Excuse me, you reap what you sow. Like you'll find people who go, you know what, I'm going ED, I'm going, kryptonite platinum, and then, but I don't want to come to the briefing. I mean, I don't want to go to Oklahoma, but watch my smoke. And it's like, you don't get it. The law of reciprocity is against you because you get out what you put into it, and you've got to put something into it to get something out of it. And that's why the weekly events are important as well, because it builds up to the like conventions, because conventions like once or twice a year. But what do we do in the meantime? And I know we've got Zooms. I know we got them. But when you're building a squad and you're building a team, you kind of want to see them. I mean, not just on Zoom, because like, for example, and no offense to anybody that doesn't have their camera on, a lot of folks don't have their cameras on. And I mean, they could be doing something really important, or they could be just, watching TV. We don't know. We don't know what they're doing. But when you're in a briefing, we kind of know what you're doing. We know you're looking at us. We see you smiling. We see you bobbing and nodding. And then your team sees you bobbing and nodding. They see that you're into it as well, and your guests see you as well. And so the Zooms is great, but live events too serve a super purpose, and that's where we can all come together and see the enthusiasm and see us having fun and making money, and that really means a lot too. And that means
Absolutely.
we all got to comb our hair and go. That's all it means. All right. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I love live events has an opportunity to help our teams to really grow and blossom. Of course, we have growth on Zooms, but like you were saying, it's nothing like having a live event, because when you circle up with your team and seeing that circle up is getting larger and larger and larger because of building, can't see that on Zoom. Can't. You can only see that at the live event. And what that does for your team, it's amazing. The energy that it brings, the synergy that it brings,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to begin to have success because of that one thing. And that's after the meeting, still in the room, knowing that your goal is to grow your circle. It may start off with one person, but then the goal is 2, the goal is 3, 4, and see that circle getting larger and larger, knowing that this is your team.
Yeah, I love being around people that want to succeed. I just love it. I was saying to someone the other day, like going to the gym. I love going to the gym because other people are in the gym putting in the work.
Yeah.
And I love being around that. That makes me want to put in the work. And that's just like the events. You see people there, they're bringing out their guests, they're showing up, they're looking sharp, they're enthusiastic, they're putting in the work. And when I see that, then it makes me want to do it just as well.
Contagious.
Contagious. Yeah, yeah. It feels really good. So, it's what's helped us get to where we're at, earn over $1 million to do some of the things we've been able to do and stay consistent. We've been in Performance Club now for 265 months, which, is, a lot more than 20 years. But it's because of the environments that we put ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even though, we can stay here at home and do things from home, it's great to be around the people that are helping to build the legacy and knowing who they are and their children, what they're going through, and the meeting after the meeting. So those things hold value as well.
Now, I want to say congratulations to you all, because hearing the success stories right here on this Zoom, you're creating that environment. There's people right now that may be a part of your organization that's not hearing the same story, the success stories that you shared today. That's contagious. Man, I feel like, man, what else can I do just from hearing your stories today?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I want to go out and talk to people and say, are you the salesperson? Oh, you're not? Oh, well, what do you do? I mean, I want to do that too.
And I was just writing some things down, because really the success stories are just phenomenal. Going senior director to and having 10 people. You had 10 people that you enrolled. Yeah. That was Miss Bradley, and I think Miss Wells went senior director. That is off the chain. And Miss Harris, prospect, you met your prospect in the store, and now you're following up with that person. That is incredible. Miss Johnson helping to build your team. I mean, these are just some great things that you are accomplishing. Keep going and growing. And it's going to take going to these big events, showing up, and watch what will happen for you and your business.
Yeah. The last thing I'll share, Mr. Buford, is that if it's a money thing, you say, "Oh, Mr. Dickens, this all sounds great, but you don't know my finances." You see, how did the comedian put it? My check account looks like this. How my checking account, it was a Kevin Hart said that. Look, I get it. I get it. But I do know this, Legal Shield pays. And let's find out how many membership it's going to take to get the travel, to get the hotel, to get your food. You know, is it a couple $100? What's it going to take to get you there? And let's go to work and start talking to people about the plan and get some sales
Yeah.
under your belt between now and then, which we got plenty of time to do that. And so that we can get you there. We can't let that be the excuse to not go. Now that's usually 90% of the time people say, well, it's the money. Well, we've got an easy fix for that, baby, because we can go out and do some memberships. And if you need our help in any way, you're more than welcome to give us a call as well. All right, we're with you guys. All right, Mr. Buford, that's kind of it for us. We'll turn back over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Buford. We appreciate your leadership and all that you do for the marketplace. We are so blessed to have you as a leader in the mighty Midwest.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate and accept it. And really glad for the opportunity to be able to work with you too, and appreciate the fact you're willing to set aside time. I know you're not sitting around twiddling your thumbs.
Oh, no.
Never that. And you know, as I've always said time and time again too, I'm grateful for the team and individuals who trust me enough to support them and lead them and be a part of their business. And so I'm very grateful for that. And you know, you've been phenomenal role models from afar and observing you, and now to be able to work with you more personally and more intimately. It's been phenomenal. I tell people all the time, iron sharpens iron is a lie. Sharp iron sharpens iron. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be sharpened by you too. And thank you for taking time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you. You are a wordsmith, man. You guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. So talk to me. Look, I'm thankful for, I mean, they literally have another call starting right now with another region. I think they're doing something for Illinois. And then later on this evening, they have a call they're doing for Indiana and Ohio. And then later on the evening, they actually, some of the regional managers all across the Midwest are getting together to talk about the different things that are taking place in the marketplace. So I'm very thankful that they were willing to set aside the time, because they really didn't have it to spare. And I'm glad you all took the time to hear from them. They dispensed a lot of gems. I'm actually not even going to speak much tonight. I want to hear the feedback, like what gems, what nuggets did you take? I mean, I have my thoughts, but I want to hear from everyone else first. What were the biggest gems or nuggets that you took from what they shared?
The tax write-offs, definitely.
That too.
Yeah.
And the
And
power of
access-
presence.
Yes, the power of presence and access to successful people, and be in the room. You get to talk to people that you wouldn't normally get to talk to.
I love it. Who else?
Do you know what part of Indiana they're in? Are they in Indianapolis?
I believe he said Indianapolis. So yeah.
Oh, great. Well, then I definitely need to connect with them, because I want to do a big event on the University of Indianapolis campus with the Black Men group. My son is there, and he has the ability to put all these people in the room. So I would love to get their information, so I can find out their availability. If they can be that spokesperson for us, that would be great. But the one thing that hit me the most, which is why I love going to big events, they hit the hammer or the nail on what they call that, on the head, whatever. And that is, when you go, everybody is willing to help you. I mean, this is 20 years of being in this business, and now they just get to pour out. But before that, going into it, they got poured into because people were willing to give them the information. I mean, I always say this, it always messed me up that people have been a part of this company for 20 something years and they're having the success that they're having. And he said, Legal Shield pays. There's no way that none of us should not have any money, like it, because they pay, you know? So I get excited about that. I love the fact that they recognize that going out the gate, that they're willing to help. They're willing to give them the information. So that's the one thing that I took when I went to my first event, was that everybody was willing to help. And I remember them on the stage too. I remember them at the last convention. They were on the stage and they actually just went to the next ring level. So when I saw, I was like, Dickinson, I think. And then I remembered them because when he said that the 10 years, 20-year age gap, I was like, I remember that couple. So I'm just like, I'm excited that they got an opportunity to pour into us, because what they're saying is very, very true, because I've experienced it. And I can't wait for those that are new to join us. Like Maya, I'm very, very excited about you going to this event. Very, very excited, because it's going to change the whole way of how you look at this business.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Mm-hmm. And
Well,
Sister Renetta.
who else? Talk to us. What was your biggest take back?
I like what they said about watching your circle grow and grow and grow. And so it's one thing for you yourself to attend convention or any big event, but when you get your teammates to get excited about attending the large events, and you get to see your associates and your team members feel that energy as well from the from convention and from any of the large events, that I think that's just an amazing thing to watch unfold, is to start with you and then to see your teammates experience all the magic at these events, and then your organization just starts to grow and grow in the excitement and the energy and the will to go after it from one event, like Mrs. Dickens said, it only took one event for her to change her whole mindset about the business. So I think that's really exciting, because we had a handful of people the last couple of years from this team at convention, but I'm excited to see more of us attending together and really building off that energy. So I appreciated her comment about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was powerful.
I love it. Who else? Any nuggets? Anything you took back? I got a full page of notes. So
Me too.
One of the things I loved was the example shit, and showing up, because your teammates, they look at you, and if you're not doing it, they gonna be like, why should I do it? So being an example, setting an example, like when you were saying something, you need to be doing it too. That just really helped me a lot. Like, you have to be present, like they saying, like, and in the live events, how important they are. You're able to connect with people better, see their faces, and actually really connect versus on Zoom. So I see how important that is, which I love live events actually better, because I love to talk to people. So I like to engage. I don't even like texting. I like to call me. Like, I'm quick to just call somebody so quick. So I'm like, I hate how text messages can go. So, and I even enjoy more quality time with people in person. So I just see how powerful that is. So that's a nugget I took that.
I love it. Who else? All right. Well, if you're gonna be shy, so I'm not gonna give you my page. of notes I just took. Let me just give you a snippet. Okay. I tell you the three biggest things I took from it was the law of reciprocity.
Mm.
And any entrepreneur that has been around longer than 2 minutes will tell you, man, I don't know the other way to say it. Like, I've seen a lot of businesses and business owners come and go over the last 20 years that I've been in this game in one capacity or other. I mean, I've seen a lot of tall trees burn down. I've seen it happen. I've seen companies. I remember there was a company who shall remain nameless. They were running around saying, drink our magic berry coffee. It's going to cure cancer and start your car at night and fix your marriage. Like, I saw that company come and go, right? I saw the magic berry juice and the magic berry water and you put this thing on your body and you're going to automatically lose 20 pounds 2 weeks later. And I mean, I've seen it all. And, the fact that they're not anomalies, they've been with this company for 2 decades. Most people don't last 3-4 years in business. They've been with this company for 2 decades. Most people in the direct selling industry, matter of fact, in general, don't last more than 4 or 5 years with a company, if not that.
Exactly.
And it'd be different if they were anomalies, but they're the regulars. And that's called a huge clue, right? When most of the people affiliate with this company, they get in and they don't leave, right? The residual income is real, but the leadership training and development is real. And I thought that was huge. Like, that law of reciprocity thing is the real thing. I remember being a former athlete, but quite frankly, I look at entrepreneurship as athletics too. And I remember when I had coaches that taught me to go out on the field and do certain things. And I remember how much respect I'd have for them because they had been there and done that, right? They were willing to pay a price. And I remember the coaches that I loved the most, particularly when I was boxing, it was the ones that were willing to get in the ring and get beat up too. It were the ones who were willing to get out there and work out too. It was the ones who were willing to pay the price. And there's just something you develop with people when you look to your left, you look to the right, there's a trust that you develop. Like, I can rely on you. I know you're going to be there. And that's something that was huge when he talked about the law of reciprocity, right? I hear it so often, not just in this business, but in general. People say, well, I'll do this when this happens, or I'll do that when this happens, or I'll commit when this happens, or I'll commit when that happens. The bottom line is it ain't going to happen till you do it. And if it does happen, people are going to look at you like you're a paper tiger because they can't duplicate what you did to get the results. They have to put in the work. They have to show up. Right? I thought that was huge. The ideal of camming up, showing the teeth and the eyeballs and showing up at the events. Look, I don't know if you all noticed, but the moment they started talking, I leaned into the camera. I took out my pen and I started writing. I'm gonna tell you, that's a habit that I developed from going to meetings. That's all the ring earners that are knocking down, 5 and 6 and 7 figures, now 7 figures plus. That's the one thing they always said. They said, when you come to a meeting, you go to the front of the room, you take out your pen and pad, and you lean in, because everyone around you is taking their notes from your behavior. So if you're lackadaisical, if you're not showing up, if you're not taking your business seriously, why would you think your teammates are going to take it seriously? And then what you really don't realize is you're sabotaging your guest. Because now the people that you're inviting to look at your business, now they're looking at you like this ain't serious either. And once again, this isn't a PPLSI Legal Shield training. That's real life. In any business that you're involved in, if you're not showing up excited and even if you do feel like BS.com, even if you're not having a good day, even if you are under the weather or depressed or whatever may be going on, it's a part of it is a show business, right? And nobody wants to do business with someone who isn't enthusiastic and excited about what they do. I don't care how smart or intelligent you are or how attractive you may think you look. If you don't bring the energy, people don't want to mess with you. because that's how they determine whether or not it's real and legitimate. And when you got all this fake nonsense going on out here, the only way people know that it's real is from your passion and how you show up. Like, to me, that was huge. The last thing I said 3, but it's gonna be 4. When he talked about showing up in the snow to briefings and nobody showing up. Now, I ran a briefing in Dearborn 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I remember we started it back when it used to snow in November. And in Dearborn, I don't know if you all are familiar with Dearborn, but they don't shovel the snow out there.
No, they don't.
So no, they don't shovel the snow. So I would show up to the briefing. I would try to get into the hotel, but you couldn't even get into the hotel. So we had to climb over like hills of snow, like people slipping, messing up their suits. I mean, it was a mess. And people did not want to show up to that briefing. Like, I remember everybody and their mama told me, Joanna, it's gonna fail. No one's gonna show up. No one's gonna go. The snow is too bad. The briefing's too expensive. We just saw someone like break their toe trying to get in the door the other day. No one's coming. And when I heard him say that, I remember that. I remember showing up to that briefing, paying for that hotel space, and it was a pretty penny, and just being there by myself, eating my own food. And I remember people like, every single day I showed up with just as much enthusiasm as if it was 100 people in the room, and guests would come in. And I remember one of them told me, they said, I'm going to keep coming to this just to see how crazy you really are. I just want to see if you're going to keep this energy. And then I remember the person like it was yesterday. The guy's name was Jerry Henry. He wasn't even in my organization. He wasn't a part of the team. And before I knew it, Jerry was telling his friends about it, like this crazy guy in December and January is trudging through the snow, wet and tired, doing this overview. And I looked up, and Jerry had literally invited 10, 15 people into the room just to see the spectacle of it. And they ended up becoming associates and building the business. Several of them moved out of state. They're still building in like 3, 4 different states. And I'm telling you, those are the things I took from it. I got excited hearing that. So I don't know if what I shared triggered anyone, feel free to share. Because I know some people haven't necessarily volunteered, but those are the big rocks, the big takeaways I took from it.
I appreciate those last thoughts that you just shared about showing up, and people came to make a spectacle or to see the spectacle, and they wound up being convinced. And you didn't have to do any of it. All you had to do was do your part, and somebody else spoke highly, or they didn't know that they were speaking highly of you. That's the killing part. They didn't know. So, I mean, just as a reference point, it's like what the devil meant for evil, God turned it around for your good.
Yep. Like, I'll share this because I think it's fascinating, right? And I'm not saying it's you all, but I know a lot of entrepreneurs where they just want to be cool. They want to be cool. Like, they want to look like they're not breaking a sweat. They want to look like they got it all together. They want to look like they're crushing it, that they're winning. They want to give off the veneer that it's all good. But I want you all to think about it for a moment. I remember Purple Oprah. Oprah Winfrey, when they called her the Purple Girl, when she started her show up like that, how they made fun of her and how she showed up anyway, like on 10 about what it is she did. I remember Venus and Serena Williams. Like, when they first came out, I was, being a former athlete, I was watching them because I'd heard about them. Matter of fact, their tennis coach that helped get them started is actually here in Detroit. And most people don't even know it. And I remember watching them with the braids. And I remember them getting ridiculed and made fun of. And I just remember how they went out on that court and just stunted. Like, they just did it their way, how they wanted to. I remember pictures of being a former investment advisor. I learned about Amazon before Amazon was Amazon. And I remember those early pictures. Man, go online and look at them pictures of Bezos. He looked like who did it and who done it. I mean, it's a mess. There's a picture of him in a papasan looking so goofy, it's ridiculous. Like he slept in a papasan building his business. Like I remember Bill Gates in the photos, and you can't even hardly find them. I think he done erased some from the internet. But it like when they say he built his business out of a garage, he built it out of a garage, right? The guy that founded Apple, look at what these people be looking like, man. Have you seen early pictures of Denzel Washington? Have you seen when he was a waiter in California? Look, Mr. Darnell Self and team TMV, Mike Humes, Self, Katrina Ferguson. It was like people that were there in the beginning. So y'all see them now. They looking sharp. They got on the tailored suits. You know what I'm saying? They got on they got on the jeans. They looking real fashionable. Man, they were coming to events wearing Glad bags. That's what they suits look like. They look like Glad bags. Okay, I saw them pictures. All right. People talk about Cliff Malloy. Cliff Malloy wore the same suit to every briefing for almost a year. The same, like you get away with that maybe twice. You can wear the same suit every 2-3 weeks, but not every day. Like not every event, same suit. All he would do was switch up the shirt. That's all he would do. And I remember people making fun of him. I remember that. Like I remember people making fun of him. And for me, the lesson I take from all that is, look, you gotta have, I mean, your energy gotta be as such where people actually look at you like you kind of crazy. You gotta be so on 10 with enthusiasm. You gotta be so on 10 with belief. You gotta show up. You gotta go so hard in the paint where people actually look at you like, okay, this person crazy, but I'm gonna show up just to see if they do it, right? I'm gonna show up just to see if they actually achieve their goals. People are watching you, right? They're watching you. And part of playing team is understanding that. You're inviting new associates to events, to Zoom calls. They're watching you. Our guests are watching you. Show up on 10. Be enthusiastic about what it is that you do because it matters. It matters, right? I'm going to ask Mr. Dickens, I know I'm going to see him at convention. I know he's going to be walking across the stage. I'm going to ask him to actually share his story about building that briefing in Indianapolis in the snow. I think people need to hear that straight up, right? The law of reciprocity. So I thank you, Ms. Harris. Yeah, you lit a little bit of fire underneath me. I had to go in when you said that. But like I said, people be trying to look so cool, man. They be trying to look like they on 10. Like they ain't never had an ugly duckling stage in their life and in their business. And it's just not true. It's not true. If you see someone and they acting like they were born shining out the womb, trust me, they fibbing to you. You don't become immensely successful as an entrepreneur. I mean, you remember the guy from A Different World? What was that guy named Ron? You do know that Ron from A Different World, the light-skinned guy that was like Dwayne Wade's best friend in A Different World. You do know in real life, he was actually a millionaire. Like he was wealthier than all of those actors on A Different World. Yeah. His family was real big in construction and a couple other industries. And a lot of people don't know this, that he lost over 1/5 of that wealth. Yeah. He lost over 1/5 of it. And the reason why he lost over 1/5 of it is he didn't take the business seriously. So I'm here to tell you, even the, what do they call them? The inheritance babies, what do they call them? The trust fund babies.
Yep.
Even if the trust fund babies, if they're not careful and they don't show it correctly, they lose it too. right? It's something about that enthusiasm. It's something about that energy. It's something about, just being a little bit crazy, right? That matters, that really determines long-term what your business is going to look like. All right, I'm done preaching, and my kid's going to make me put them in a UPS box and ship them somewhere. So anyone else? It's about to go down as soon as I come off this camera. Anyone else have anything they want to share before we wrap up? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Well, look, I'll leave it at this. I'm calling the people. I love it, Dr. Roman. We didn't get a chance to shout out Dr. Roman either, but I thought that was really cool that she did not give up on her business and she performance qualified the last day of the month. So shout out to you, Dr. Roman, for getting it in, because you could have called it in.
Everything was good.
Thank you.
Yes. So if you're not registered for convention, get registered. As Mr. Dickens said, don't let a couple bucks be the reason you don't go. If you need a couple bucks, it's the perfect business to get in, because you can literally create money out of Erica's business. And I'll be frank, like, I remember the first convention I went to, it was like 3-4 of us to a room. And we were all looking at each other sideways, like, dude, like, I don't just want to smell you or look at you. Okay. Like, look, we'll do what we need to do to find accommodations and find a way to help you get yourself there. But don't let money be the reason you don't go, right? If you have a heart and you understand the value of it, get yourself there, follow myself, follow some of the other leadership. Let's make sure that is not the reason why you don't make it to convention. So, I will say this, Ms. Sharon Madison will be at the next B2B event that we're having next Tuesday at 6:45. If you don't know who she is, I encourage you to go online and look her up. She's one of the few, if not the only, African-American to own commercial real estate downtown Detroit. She manages a multi-billion-dollar portfolio, does billion-dollar projects and construction projects all across the United States. She's going to be talking about how to build a multi-billion-dollar real estate commercial portfolio. I don't know. I think that's the type of person you probably want to be in a room with. I'll just put it that way. I will also let you know that we also have, and once again, go online, look him up, Mr. David Tarver. This gentleman over 20 years ago sold 2 businesses. One of them sold for an excess of $20 million over 20 years ago, when $1 million was a lot of money. Matter of fact, I think I just gave him a haircut. I think he actually sold it for $30 million. And then if that wasn't good enough, he turned around and helped several other people do the exact same thing. So is it safe to say he knows a little something about money? Better believe it.
When is he speaking?
I'm going to try to tie him down
Okay.
for 2 weeks after convention. But know that he's on deck, and know those are the type of entrepreneurs that we are introducing at the B2B Mixer. Y'all sleeping. You think it's a game. We're not putting any random people in front of the room. We're putting multi-billionaires and millionaires in the room. I have at least 10 millionaires that I've been on the phone with over the last 2 months that I've been tying down to come to that B2B Mixer. So if you're not showing up, you're doing a disservice to yourself. And if you're not showing up, you're doing a disservice to all the other business owners you know, because know that to get in a room with Tarver, people are paying $15,000, $20,000, and $30,000 to get in a room with him. And we're putting them in a room for $10. I'm just saying. So that being said, I'm off my soapbox. Everyone, I celebrate success in advance. Everyone have a great evening. Congratulations. Everybody crush it. And March, just keep that same energy in April.